Hello, this is John Stiles with Bridge Realty. I wanted to introduce you to a friend of mine, Eunice Neubauer. Eunice is with Choice Connections, which is a company that helps seniors navigate their options for senior housing. So first of all, thank you, Eunice, for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you, John, for inviting me to do this. I appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. Well, I'm happy to introduce you to the people in my network. So, I know a lot of people when they are getting older, they have kind of a tough decision of, they mostly want to stay in their house where they feel comfortable. They've lived there for many years, but at some point, some things get difficult and they might need to look at some other options. So what are you seeing in your work about some of the main motivating factors that somebody might look into senior living or senior care options?
Well, so I think there's kind of two cohorts of seniors out there, John. All of us age differently, right? But boomers is such a big cohort, and there's kind of those that are looking to just get rid of the big house and the yard and all the work, and they want something that's less maintenance. And they're maybe considering buying a co-op or buying something or buying a townhome. So they might make a move, and then they might be ones to make another move, and so I think that's one cohort. And then the other is they love their home, they've been there, they don't really want to move. And quite often what happens is something happens, like a crisis. Like example, my mother-in-law, she's 91. She downsized to a one level when she was like 66, when she became when she lost her husband. And she never wanted to move. And just a few weeks ago, she ended up in a fall. And it was amazing that she didn't break anything and that she's okay, because she laid on her floor for 2 days before we knew that. And so many times it's a crisis, and then they really aren't safe to go back in their home, and then they are finding a choice, at that point in time. So hopefully, though, they have someone like Choice Connections to help them at least have choices. Because I think that's what happens so often when it's a crisis type of move, that they don't have much choice and they just go where there's an opening.
Yeah. So what are the different options that they could choose from, and how do you kind of help them navigate which one is the best for them?
Well, it comes down to really first a conversation to get at what are their preferences. Do they want a really large community with long hallways and lots of activities? Is there a faith perspective? So it's all about kind of what it is that they have as preferences. But then it's also about what can they afford? What do their finances look like? Do they want a place that they can age in place all the way through into life? And if they end up spending a lot of money throughout the rest of their life, will they be able to pay for that privately, or do they need a place that takes Medicaid or medical assistance, as Minnesota calls it? And so it's really kind of looking at all those things. What are their preferences? What location is always first, just like buying a house, right? So it's always location first, but then it's preferences, what they can afford, what their care needs are now and in the future. And are they worried about outliving their money?
Yeah, so definitely I'm sure that a lot of people speak with their financial advisors as well during this process.
Yeah, and I'm always surprised how many don't have a financial advisor today. And I think that is so important to really understand their finances.
Sure. So then you help them navigate what their housing options are, but what does it cost to hire you to navigate all that?
So the great thing about Choice Connections is we're a free placement referral service. So people always say, are you really free? And so it's like this: if you start with us, we are free. Our goal is to be unbiased. And when someone works with us, we make referrals to the appropriate places. And when they move to that appropriate place, that senior living option pays us a referral fee at move-in. That happens 90% of the time, John. There's only about 10% that end up paying me a fee for service. And there's two situations where that occurs. One is they've done quite a bit of looking already, and so places have their name. If places already have their name, they aren't going to pay me a referral fee. They pay Choice Connections because their name's already in their database. They've already been there. And so in that case, I charge a fee for service. And the second option I charge a fee for service is if they need a place that, if they've already outlived their money. They don't have resources to pay for care or assisted living. This is assuming somebody needs some assisted living or care. If they need what's called elderly waiver, which is that medical assistance term that pays for your care, legally, I can't get a referral fee in that case either. And so often the family is willing to pay a fee for service just to have me help them navigate. So the key is to call me early. Let me help you save time and energy looking at all the options, because I know so much more than what's on the internet or in a senior housing book.
Yeah, and I can only imagine if somebody is suddenly looking at this situation, and like you said, it has come up through an emergency. There's just so many different factors to consider that can be really helpful to have someone like yourself who's been through the situation, and knows the different housing opportunities, and that can really help them decide which is best for them.
Yeah. I think when people call us, they're kind of skeptical, how can I be free? But after just a few minutes of talking to us and they understand how much experience we have, and that we're really here to help them. Our goal is always to get them to the best place for their loved one. They are just always so happy they called.
That's great. Well, speaking of people calling you, what is the best way to people to get in touch with you?
Well, so my office number is 651-261-5379. My website, choiceconnectionsmn.com. So there's actually 3 offices. I'm more St. Paul and South. And so it kind of defines our areas if you go to that website. And then I have a blog, agewiseassisted.com. So there I have just a lot of information about aging, and people can always just text me too. Whatever works for them, I'm here for them to help.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time to highlight your services today, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks so much, John. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Have a good day.